All right, I was going to have to talk about this, right? I'm going to talk about the things I saw in the Kyle Rittenhouse video. And it's a video, but there's actually multiple videos from multiple angles. I encourage you to look these things up. They're probably not on YouTube anymore. I would check out BitChute, places like that, and get the longest extended cuts you can because, okay, there might be 5 minutes of what appears to be nothing happening, but that also is going to set the context to essentially what happens before and after and why it happens. That way it's harder to be lied to. It's kind of like with the Robert Blake stuff. If you just see, 2 seconds of him getting shot while leaning into a vehicle and it's unclear what the hell was happening, you might be outraged and ashamed. But if you see the whole multi-minute video and them yelling at him, put down the knife, and him brawling with cops and him getting tased and not cooperating, and then, you get a little more research that basically they had a warrant for sexual assault and they were showing up to a 911 call because he had stolen, I guess, one of his ex's keys, which I guess he was the keys of the car, I assume, that he was trying to take the kids away. I don't know. Really unclear. But that completely changes the context of what they're pushing. In this case, I would say, I'm going to go through step by step what happened, but it's maybe just going to help you kind of follow things as they happen in these kind of shaky videos. And I'll give my commentary as I go saying it. But check it out for yourself. Check it out for yourself. I'm not making this up. This is don't trust the mainstream news. They're not protesters. They were definitely rioters, and there was a lot more violence occurring beforehand and during than what they want to have you believe. That this dude just opened up on a group of people. That's not what happened at all. Not at all. So what happened? Lawless rioting, looting, burning, and this kid was here with what we're told is that he was here with a militia group. Now, it's unclear. Apparently, what the militias were doing, because they had done it to some degree the night before, is they essentially were stopping the arsons at like specific points. You can see there's one there's like a car dealership, and like the car dealership across the street, or they say at least the lot, I don't know if this part's the same dealership or not, that's completely burned out. And then the one across the street from that just has like a row of cars smashed. And there was a reporter on the ground who said basically militia dudes with ARs came out and told the people who were going to burn these cars down to go away, and they did. So there was already some sort of action going on. I don't know. We don't know how long Kyle was in this, or was he with them? How many nights was he there? We don't know. But he was with this militia group, and one of the things that backs that up in the video is that he approaches the militia. The militia comes at the very end. There's basically a line of militia dudes who come, and they're moving, and they got their body armor and their rifles, and they don't seem at all threatened or surprised by him being there with a rifle. In fact, he's got his hands up and he's signaling to them. So it's clear that whether he was with that specific group or not, he was I guess a counter rioter or whatever you want to call it. He was not there as part of the violent mob. And obviously, since we know now the kid was 17, he obviously wasn't there on behalf of the police. And it does seem like he was with a group, because how a 17-year-old would end up in that situation without, someone else, I don't know. All right, so at some point, he did get separated from his group. Now, how far he was separated, why he was separated, how that initially occurred, well, we kind of had somewhat of an idea of how far away the other militia guys were, because the video in one continuous thing, and the guys are moving towards. Now, why he got separated, whether he was left behind to guard something and then he got overwhelmed, or he maybe went the wrong way, or that maybe there was somebody else somebody else was also separated because he was with a group. I don't know. We don't know, but he becomes separated. So one of the first videos is basically you see that this dude's being chased down in a parking lot. They're throwing stuff at him, and somebody gets really close and he domes the guy. It's a little kind of unclear. The video's not really great from that angle, but basically he's being attacked and he does fire. Now, what you do see is the dude on the ground. That was the call to police video that people were kind of laughing at, because it is really ironic. So he's standing there over this dude who he just shot, and I think that's kind of anybody who wasn't intending, who's just a cold-blooded murderer. That's kind of probably what their reaction would be. Because holy shit, that just happened. And basically he's standing there for a little bit, and there's some other people nearby, and there's people with their phones out, of course, and somebody like got their hand over their face, and it's like wow, that just happened. That, they just watched somebody die right in front of them. And then kind of as this group starts forming, they start pointing at him, saying he's the shooter, he's the murderer. He takes that as his cue to get the hell out of there, because I don't know if he was staying there because he thought like maybe it was his responsibility to help this guy he just shot, or what it was, or he just was in shock himself. But at that point, he decides to bug out. Well, when he starts moving, people start giving chase immediately. One of the things you got to not do in those kind of situations is run, because if you run and you're not part of like essentially an attacking, like a bounding group, they're going to chase you, and they're always going to be faster than you, because there's always someone faster than you. And basically people pointing that this guy in a bright yellow shirt is the one who shot and who murdered this guy, or whatever they were saying. It was bad, and he started immediately having people descend upon him. Now, there's angles from a distance, you can't really 100% tell what's going on, but then the angle that I think most people have seen of him moving down the street from a different angle. There's actually two angles of that too. So basically he's trying to flee, and there's two dudes who get particularly close to him. One of them has a Glock. You can see that in one of the videos. You can't see it in the other video because the angle is from behind, so you can't see the guy's holding it, but he does have a Glock, and there's some close-up photos too. And there's another dude who's a little faster. I wasn't sure whether I was to say, you can't really tell whether he had other weapons on him, but one of the things he was doing was he had a skateboard. Kyle gets tackled. He goes down. He immediately rolls onto his back because he's trying to raise his gun up to get this guy off him. Well, the guy with the skateboard starts whacking him with the skateboard, like in the head. And if you know anything about, like, if you've ever held a skateboard or skateboarded, I mean, it's been years since I've done it, but yeah, like basically it's a plank of wood with a metal end on it. It's actually not a bad club. If you were going to get hit with something, I would not want it to be a skateboard because it's metal. And basically, the attacker knows this, and he's hitting Kyle in the head with the skateboard. So Kyle tries to point the rifle at him to basically get him to back off. There's a struggle. It looks like the skateboard dude grabbed the rifle at some point. And now, during this, Glock dude approaches. At some point, shot fires. It's clearly from Kyle's rifle. It's unclear exactly whether that was due to the struggle of the barrel being pulled on, or whether he shot at the guy with the Glock because he saw him, up close, because he didn't see that he was armed before. Because Kyle got tackled from behind, so it wasn't like he was just standing still and let these people come near him. He was trying to get away. So he gets tackled, some shots ring out. Not sure what happens with the first initial shots. Skateboard guy goes back in to hit him. Kyle shoots him in the gut. Gut guy, he goes face down on the pavement. That guy's out for the count. Kyle's trying to stand up, and he then, at some point, and it's unclear which shots hit, but it was basically before he stands up and after he stands up, he fires at Glock guy. The guy with the Glock, he's hitting the arm, and because you see like a pretty nasty wound in a lot of these pictures. So that guy takes a hit to the arm. He is fired at multiple times by Kyle. I can't tell whether he hits him once and then stopped shooting at him, or he just was panicking and missed. I don't know. But you can see. And once this dude, I guess once he hit the dude and the dude actually like turns around and starts running away, Kyle starts running away. Just so you know, if someone's attacking you with a gun, like, and you're defending yourself, and you shot the guy in the arm, but he's still holding the gun, you're well within your right to actually keep shooting at that person, because that's, the person's still a threat. If this were a military situation or a police situation or a SWAT situation, the fact that the guy got shot in the arm, the fact he was still holding the gun, even though he got shot in the arm, it wouldn't matter. He would have been shot again and again and again. So maybe Kyle just thought, like, okay, he took the risk that this dude, or he panicked, something happened. Whatever happened, he shot this dude in the arm. That probably saved Kyle's life. And Kyle turns around and he runs away. So let's see, what do I have here? He does fire a couple warning shots while backing up, because it seems like the mob was not deterred by what was happening, and they start forming, and there's more screaming and yelling. He fires what appears to be warning shots. And I say that because it was kind of unaimed fire that was kind of down. Then he retreats. And within a couple seconds of him retreating, he's got his hands off his rifle. He's running towards basically flashing police lights because now there's a sheriff's vehicle coming down the road. In front of the sheriff's vehicle, before that, the militia guys show up. And this is what I was talking about, like militia guys show up at the end, and they don't seem too concerned the fact that Kyle's there and he has a rifle because, like, you know, if you're in militia, like, that's what you're looking for is those kind of people to basically keep an eye on because they might be shooting you. But they don't seem concerned about that, so I suspect they either knew him or had already seen him earlier in the night and knew he wasn't a threat to them. And Kyle then goes past the militia guys. You can't see where the militia guys go. And then he's got his hands up and he's signaling to the police. And then most of the videos end after a certain amount of time. And there's, of course, you know, lots of yelling. And the cameraman's still yelling, he shot those people. He's all upset about it. And that's pretty much what went down. Now, legitimate complications. One, he's 17. Juvenile with a rifle. Probably that may very well be legal, but it does complicate things to say the very least. He's from out of state, albeit very close. He's from Illinois, which is, you know, a stone's throw from Kenosha. It's like Jersey and Philadelphia, like they're basically right near each other. And I suspect a lot of these people who came in rioting were from out of state too. So it doesn't, you know, the fact he was out of state, that doesn't. It raises some legal questions because then, like, basically, because the prosecution attorney is going to say, oh, he came there to kill people. And the proof he came there is that he came from another state. I don't know if that'll stick. Apparently they're trying to charge him with first-degree murder. There's no way after the video, there's no way that's going to stick. So that's just stupid. So that prosecutor should probably just drop the charges now because they're going to embarrass themselves. And if he does get convicted, he's going to be a martyr. So... and the other things that's unclear are we don't know what he was guarding initially. Usually there's footage that pops up like of the night of either the night before or before the action where you can see like these people standing around. Excuse me. Quite thirsty. And let's just say a good example is like the guy in Austin, the guy who was marching with Antifa, and he I guess he was with BLM. Whatever that, the kid who shot it, basically he pointed the gun at the vehicle, and then the vehicle guy in the vehicle shot him, trying to make him become a hero. There's video of him beforehand saying what he's doing, why he's there, and all this other stuff. So, you know, it's not without context. In this case, we don't 100% know what the full context of why he was there, who he was with, what he was really intending to do. I suspect we'll probably find out in coming days. But I don't know, and so we can only kind of speculate at this point. The other thing is I keep seeing different reports saying 2 dead and 3 dead, and 2 killed by him and 3 killed by him. Now, I don't think the dude with the Glock died. If he did, that would be, you know, we found out. So I don't know where this third victim is. There's 2 guys I did definitely. I should say, the skateboard guy who goes down flat on the pavement, that guy's probably dead. He got shot at close range with a rifle multiple times, and he was not moving after that. And then the first dude who got hit in the head, like, he was just down. Like, you're not going to survive the close range shot to the head like that with a rifle. It's just, you're down. You're done. So those are the 2. I don't know where this third death is coming from. Because I had heard of somebody else getting killed elsewhere in the city in an unrelated incident, but now I'm wondering, is this one big incident and things are being conflated? Because, for instance, I didn't know the video of the dude on the ground who had been shot in the head where they're yelling, call the police, was actually tied to this incident, when it's really like, it's actually what happened before the main footage that everybody was showing. Which is interesting when you kind of get the piece of the story and then you find out, oh, all these things are in the same universe. But we don't know. We don't know what's happening. The media is already smearing this kid. It was an active riot. It wasn't like a peaceful protest or some bullshit. If this were a local resident, I would say it would be an open shut case of self-defense. But because he's from out of state, my guess is the lawyers are going to play some games, and I don't know what's going to happen. From what I can tell, it doesn't look like the kid did anything wrong, uh, other than not following my advice of, like, you know, forming a militia and showing up to meet the mob, because it's going to be an optics loss. Like this is going to be a mess. The Democrats are going to we're not going to stop hearing about this kid until November, unless some really damning information comes out. Now, Razor Fist did a video, and he talked about how he's pretty sure that this is hurting the DNC, and it was in the polls. But you got to remember, there's a lag. As for what this specific incident is going to do, I don't know, because the Dems are going to milk it for everything they're worth. And they're basically going to say, this is proof that, Trump has radicalized people and he's hurting people, completely ignoring the riot stuff. And they're going to ignore the riots and arsons and destruction and all the mayhem that the BLM and Antifa have been causing, because basically the media is not spoon feeding it to them. You got to go out of your way to find these things. And most people just are only, keeping one eye on the ball because they've got, lives to live. And those are the people you need to essentially convince. Just got a news alert. But those are basically the people you need to convince to your side, to empathize with you. And it's like low information, high emotion. Those are the people they're going for. Because it's a pain in the ass to keep up with all this stuff. I mean, I effectively wasted time in my day going in to understand this incident, which doesn't really affect me that much. And I found these videos and went down, did the breakdown. I'm talking to you guys now, and really, it's like, how is my life affected by 3 protesters getting killed in Wisconsin? It doesn't really affect my life at all, right? But if you're not paying attention, and then someone says, "Oh my God, a Trump person killed three innocent protesters in Wisconsin," and it was, they spin the narrative they spin, and then you're unaware of this completely, you're just going to probably take their word for it. You go, "Oh my God," and then you're going to look at the headlines, you're going to read the headlines, and it's going to make it sound like it was like the worst thing ever. But then again, maybe people are just instinctively don't trust the media, which is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that this finally kind of breaks some people free, because there's enough footage of this, particularly the thing that triggered this, which was the Blake shooting. There's more footage of that, and that news alert I got just said basically he had weapons in the car. So, surprise, right? I'm hoping that red pills some people. Basically, they might believe all that whole chain of lies that led them up into the basically far left camp and supporting BLM and Antifa because they're just clueless. And then at least with this, it's like there's video you can show them. Like, look, here's the whole incident, and this is what they're upset about, and here's the warrant for the guy, and here's his arrest record. Now, they're not going to listen to somebody on the right saying that, but they might listen to a moderate saying that. So I'm hoping that some people get red pilled and realize basically they've been being lied to for years, and it's to manipulate them, and it's to get them angry. And then again, maybe not, because I've shown videos to people of things that they just said happened, or they said some Trump said something, and there was no context to it. I was like, well, you want to see like the 30 seconds before, like where it completely debunks what you're claiming here, and you show it to them, and then they just act like I'm not watching that, or I don't know what you heard, and it's like This is now an objective fact. This isn't speculation. This is literally, I have the words right here, exactly what was said, and you just can't convince some people, and it's frustrating. But whatever, we'll see where this story goes. I mean, I warned you. I feel like Tim from Monty Python. It's like, I told you guys about the rabbit. You didn't listen to me. But we'll see. It's an optics fight, and hopefully the good guys win it. But I don't know. My guess is this National Guard crackdown stuff, like, it's probably going to help, because if basically Trump sends in federal forces with the National Guard, and then that place like Kenosha is like cracked down upon, and the rioting stops there dead, then it'll be like, oh, okay, so it's there is a way to stop this madness. So, and hopefully then militias won't feel like they have to come out and defend themselves. So, all right.